Tonight, the train moved slowly through the sleeping countryside. Soft lights glowed inside the carriage, and outside the window, the world was wrapped in silver moonlight. It was one of those quiet journeys where time seemed to slow down, and thoughts became softer. She almost didn't take this train. It was a last-minute decision, a sudden change of plans, a quiet escape she didn't even understand herself. Maybe she just needed distance, distance from noise, distance from memories, distance from a love that never truly arrived. So she sat near the window, holding a warm cup of tea between her hands, watching dark trees pass by like silent shadows. And then, someone entered the carriage. He walked in quietly. No rush, no noise, just calm footsteps moving closer. There were many empty seats, but somehow he chose the one across from her. Not too close, not too far, just close enough to feel his presence. She looked up only for a second, and in that second, something changed. His eyes were warm, gentle, like he already knew this silence, like he understood her tired thoughts without asking a single question. He smiled politely, not too much, just enough, and sat down. For a while, they said nothing, only the soft rhythm of the train surrounded them. Click, clack, click, clack. The sound felt almost like breathing, like the train itself was alive, and somehow their silence didn't feel uncomfortable. It felt safe. After some time, he spoke softly. "Long trip?" She smiled a little. "Yes, long enough." He nodded slowly, like he understood more than her words. "Sometimes long trips help us think," he said quietly. She looked at him again, and something inside her heart moved, because that was exactly why she was here. The train passed a small station. Golden lights appeared for a moment and disappeared again into darkness. And suddenly their conversation began to grow, slowly, naturally, like two people who were not strangers anymore. They talked about cities, about quiet places near lakes, about books they loved, about nights when sleep never came. And with every word, the distance between them became smaller, not physically, but somewhere deeper, somewhere invisible. She noticed his hands, calm hands, strong hands, warm hands, the kind of hands that looked like they could hold someone gently and never let them feel alone again. And when he laughed softly, she felt something she hadn't felt in a very long time. Comfort. Real comfort. Outside the window, the moon followed the train, always there, always watching. Like it knew this night was important, like it knew this meeting was not an accident. Hours passed without them noticing. Time became soft, almost unreal. Their voices became quieter, closer, warmer, and at some moment their shoulders almost touched. Not intentionally, not planned, just naturally. Like two paths slowly meeting. She felt her heart beating faster, not from fear, not from uncertainty, but from something gentle, something rare, something she thought she had already lost forever. Hope. He looked at her differently now, not like a stranger anymore, not even like a new friend. His eyes held something deeper, something warmer, something that stayed longer than words. "Are you traveling far?" he asked quietly. She hesitated, then answered honestly, "I'm not sure yet." He smiled again. "Sometimes the best destinations are the ones we don't plan." The train entered a long tunnel. Darkness surrounded the windows. Only their reflections remained. Two silhouettes sitting close together. Two quiet souls meeting somewhere between yesterday and tomorrow. And in that darkness, their hands finally touched, just slightly, just for a moment. But that moment changed everything. Neither of them moved away. Neither of them pretended it didn't happen. Instead, their fingers stayed close, resting gently beside each other, like they had already chosen to stay. When the train left the tunnel, Moonlight returned again. Soft, silver, beautiful, and she realized she didn't feel lonely anymore, not even a little. They continued talking, but now their voices were slower, softer, more personal. He told her about the places he had traveled, about nights under open skies, about dreams he never told anyone before. And she listened carefully, like every word mattered, because it did. Then he asked about her, and she told him things she never planned to share. Not tonight, not with a stranger, not with anyone. But somehow, he didn't feel like a stranger. He felt like someone she had been waiting for without knowing it. The train moved deeper into the night. Stations appeared and disappeared. Passengers came and left. But they stayed, still sitting together, still talking, still smiling quietly, like the world outside no longer existed. At some moment their hands met again. This time he didn't pull away. And neither did she. His fingers gently held hers, carefully, respectfully, warmly, and she felt her heart whisper something simple but powerful: stay. They didn't say the word love, not yet, not directly, but it was already there. Between their smiles, between their silence, between their hands, between their breaths, growing slowly like sunrise behind the horizon. Finally, his station was coming. The train began to slow down, and suddenly time started moving again. Too fast, too quickly, too soon. Neither of them wanted this moment to end. He looked at her softly. "Come with me," he said quietly, not as a request, not as pressure, just as hope, pure hope. She looked outside the window, then back at him, then at their hands still gently connected, and she understood something clearly. Some journeys begin with tickets, others begin with courage. So she stood up, still holding his hand, still smiling softly, still feeling her heart beating stronger than ever before. And together they stepped off the train into the silver night. The station was small, quiet, almost empty. Moonlight covered the platform like soft snow, and the world felt calm again, peaceful again, right again. They didn't know what would happen tomorrow. They didn't know where this road would lead. But they knew something more important. They had found each other, in the middle of nowhere, on an ordinary night, inside an ordinary train, during an extraordinary moment. And sometimes that is exactly how love begins. Quietly, unexpectedly, softly, like two hearts meeting on a silent train ride under the moonlight.